Support for this show, Politics Done Right, comes from politicsdoneright.com, publishers of How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It, As I See It, Class Warfare, The Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom, It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Egberto Willis. Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto Willis, host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. Good morning to the United States. And of course, good morning to the entire world receiving our signals via the magic of El Internet. How's everybody doing today? I trust everybody is doing just fine. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Let me tell you, folks, we got a show for you today. But before getting started, let's throw it to El Estudio with El Señor Howard Reynolds, Jack Van Beba, and Mayana. Buenos dias, mis hermanos. How are you guys doing today?
Buenos dias, it's Mayana.
Mayana, how are you doing?
So far, so good.
That's what we like to hear. Talk to me, guys.
Good morning, Egberto. Howard's in his lair. We have relegated him to his lair so he can work.
We just keep working, Howard. But you know what, man? Without Howard, that station and those antennas don't work. But let's get busy. What's up, Jack?
Right. Okay. One of your headlines particularly tickled my fancy, so I expanded on it.
Folks, his fancy has been tickled. His fancy has been tickled.
Here goes the program. CBO, Congressional Budget Office confirms with Trump GOP's big boneheaded bill, working families lose and billionaires win. This isn't shared sacrifice, it's class warfare, said one policy expert. If you're waiting for true fascism to arrive, wait no longer. It's here. Donald Trump has sold the people out to the corporate interests. He is eroding the Constitution. I'm hoping the people will pick up the Constitution's Bill of Rights and use it to their advantage. This administration is waging class warfare on the middle class, the working class, and the working poor, and the poor. We, the people, need to wage class warfare on the morbidly rich billionaires. It can be done. It can be done. The most important thing we can do besides our vote is how we use our pocketbooks and purses. If consumption drives the economy, then a slowdown of consumption would slow down the economy and send a message to the billionaires. The people aren't going to play along with their tax breaks for the rich and austerity for the working and middle class and punishment for the poor. So save your money, cut your spending.
I love it. I love it. You know something, Jack? You've been using that message for quite some time. Use the power that you have. And we do have more power than we are led to believe, and we should use it. Jack is absolutely right. You know, if we collectively decided not to do certain things, if we collectively decide to punish companies to show them to make them remember our power, because remember that the folks, you know, people believe that those folks that own these companies, those folks that have all this wealth, that somehow there's something about them that's not about you. And the truth of the matter is, we're all necessary in this entire economy for stuff to function. And the idea that somehow we have to be subservient to those who have figured out how to use this system to amass wealth is false. We have the power, and what they have taught us from the day we were born is that somehow there's some with power and there are those without. It's not the truth, and we have to wake up and understand that. Jack, thank you for talking about that. Mayana, anything you want to add? Earlier, I think you had some issues that you wanted to discuss.
Yeah, I feel a lot of concern right now as Trump has the military in Washington and kind of has the police and, you know, with their hands behind their backs, I guess. it just gives me pause as to what is next. What is he trying to see if he can do?
And I think that last sentence that you just said there is what's going on right now. What he's trying to figure out, what are the things that he can do. When he went over and took over LA for a while, when he's taken over DC now, he wants to see how much latitude that Congress is going to give him, whether folks are going to go to the Supreme Court to find loopholes to stop him or not. Because all of this breaks down, in my humble opinion, to what's going to occur near the election. How do you frustrate the election to do a form of voter suppression? There are a whole lot of things these people with his folks are trying. And earlier I was telling you that. Go ahead. I
was saying, but the fear is that, Congress isn't going to fight back or doesn't know what to do. And that also worries me.
Well, the interesting thing about it, Mayana, is while Congress is still under Republican control, right? That would mean that Trump has all of Congress, meaning the Senate and the House. He has himself in the executive, and the judiciary is owned by him up on the top. That is the Supreme Court. So yeah, right now they have the trifecta and they're in control. That's the biggest fear for 2026, right? 2026 is the year that he no longer has, that if it works right, he no longer has the trifecta. And thus, his goal is to maintain that house. So he maintains the trifecta. He has the trifecta. He has the body that makes the laws, and he has the body that actually interprets the law. And of course, he is the one who executes the law. Having that trifecta mean anything can become constitutional. Not having it, he has a check. And that's why, America that are listening to me out there, you can't be fearful of what you see occurring in DC, LA, and what he's likely to do in Chicago and New York. You've got to be out there and you've got to fight back. And you have the power to do so. Remember, the military consists of your brothers, your sisters, your daughters, and all these other folks, right? And they are not, and this is where people have to get it, right? There are not enough people bribed off that you are just going to have a wayward military killing its own people. Remember that. The military is not some dubious thing. The military is composed of all of our kids, all of our mothers, brothers, sisters, and everybody else. And we ought to be getting into their heads as well. Again, we have more power than we may think we have, or that they want us to think we have. Thank you, Mayana, for that. So folks, don't fear the DC. React to it and let it be known all over the place in your media, etc. AI will pick it up. Let it be known we are not fearful, and we will fight back. We will fight back. For those that are calling on my morning number, I'm sorry I have the wrong number on the screen. The number to call in is 713-526-5738. Again, it's 713-526-5738 is the number we call in the mornings. That other number is the afternoon number. My bad. Let's go to, I got a lot to talk about today, a lot of stuff to put out, but Tag called in early, so let's give Brother Tag the floor.
Thank you, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, my brother. Talk to me.
Well, from my vantage point, I think Trump is desperate right now. And it shows with him trying to redistrict Texas to pick up an additional five votes. That's an act of desperation, just like he was desperate to try to get 11,000 votes from Ratzenberger in Georgia. That was desperation. And another desperate act is bringing the military to Washington, D.C. He knows there's going to be huge protests coming to Washington, D.C. And the only way to squash a protest to Washington, D.C. is to have the military there. So he doesn't have enough of them there yet, but he'll have more. He'll have 10,000 military troops in Washington to take care of a 2-3 million person protest. You can see it all coming. The man is desperate, and we just need to keep the heat on him, right?
Yeah, that's what we got to do. It's like I just told Mayanna, we have to let them know that we know we have the power. Again, military and everything else is comprised of us. It's comprised of us. So Tag, absolutely. Hey, Tag, I need to keep going because, man, I got a lot to cover today, and I need to get to some of this. So thank you for calling in. First call, brother.
Have a great day.
You too. Wow, the phones are heating up already, and I have a lot to cover. Okay, guys, I'm going to take these 5 calls. Hold up until after I play Keith Ellison and the other one, but let's get busy. Come on in, Johnny, number 1. Wow.
Real quickly, I hope you're right, but I'm afraid you might be wrong. Let's assume the other thing. Let's act on the assumption that he does have enough people and that he will have enough people. He's got actor Dean Cain on his side now, encouraging people like him to join up. They're bribing people with college loan payments off. They got all kinds of money now that they've taken in order to pass back to people. It's sick and disgusting. You remember not too long ago, on more than one occasion, I've told you that Joe Biden on Inauguration Day or the very next day, that he should have appeared in such a way that was different. Not with a suit jacket and tie, but maybe his tie's very loose, with an upside-down American flag in his lapel, and instruct all his key people to dress the same way for the purpose of letting people know that things were different, and he would explain to the American people, after he apologizes on behalf of the Democratic Party for their decades-long complicity, that this is in a national emergency, a constitutional crisis, and he would define what that means and then explain the things he was going to do about it. And it was going to take time. And for that duration, he would be dressed a certain way. That way, the American people, there's no ambiguity as to what's going on. He didn't do that. And now it's going to be that much harder for us to take everything back. So we have to make the assumption that Dean Cain and Donald Trump and all these crazy people, they're building their numbers. How do we short-circuit that? 2 ways. Simultaneously, we have to stop paying money into their system so they can't pay ICE. And number 2, we go to the banks. We go to the people where he banks at, and we convince them to freeze his bank accounts so that he can't use his own personal money to pay these ICE people. In addition to what's going on right now, you see citizens right now. You see citizens right now live streaming. When ICE shows up, we've got to do that too.
Right. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you, Johnny, I am wrong until we get up and fight. And yeah, guess what we're starting to do? Fight back. So I mean, look, everybody that has ideas on what to do, what I tell them, don't ask for permission of whether your idea would work. My mind is just as good as yours. Your mind is just as good as mine, and all that sort of stuff. You know how we beat the AIDS virus, Johnny? By having that AIDS virus have to look and do a whole lot of things. You know how Trump did what Trump did? He has so many things in the fire right now that we're looking left, we're looking right. Look at what's happening now. Look at what's happening next. Well, we have to do things, and exactly. Everybody has to do something, and that by everybody doing something, that will stop it. America is not a country that will be willing to remain in a constant state of a dictatorship. It's not in our DNA, and it will not remain. Remember, folks, we had the Red Scare before, where the right wing had everybody looking over their shoulders, and we eventually broke out of it, and we broke out of it because it is not in our DNA. So folks out there, do not fear. My brother Johnny is correct as well. We do all the things we need to do. Hey, Johnny, I got to move on because I want to get some stuff done. Real quick.
One final word. Remember Nazi Germany, what happened. Don't think it can't happen here. Don't assume that he doesn't have enough people. Nazi Germany is an example that it can happen, and it is happening right now. That's all I'm saying. Have a good day.
I got you, brother. You too, my brother. And I don't have any idea that, I do believe, yes, Germany can happen here, but there are enough of us speaking out than those who spoke out in Germany right now. Tall boss, number 3. Come on in. Real quick again as well, my friends.
Yeah, God bless America, my brother.
Talk to me, sir.
And I wanted to say the last time I spoke to you about when Trump attacked Iran, you said Trump was wrong. I said Trump was right. I was wrong. It was fake news. You know what I mean? So I realized I was wrong. But anyway, I want to say, Jah Rastafari, bless America. And we here in America, America's strength is its diversity. People from all over the world is in this country supporting it and making it better. And Trump is just tearing America apart. All this tariff and all of this thing he's doing, and he's calling out the National Guard and people. Hey, you all voted Trump in because you all listen to the rhetoric of immigrants. Immigrants help build this mother effer. So this country is sure. I have to understand. We all build this, man.
Thank you, my brother. My brother, Tall Boss. And actually, Tall Boss is right. All of us that are on this land are immigrants. All of us except the natives. And yes, all built this land, some for free. Thank you very much, brother Tall Boss.
Okay, brother. Thank you, man.
Let's go to Brother John. Come on in, Brother John. Real quick.
Yeah, very quickly. Yeah, we can speculate and whatnot, but what we need to do is move forward. And I know that sounds simplistic, but we have the history of Nazi Germany, and we know what's going on. And I think that many people are informed, and we have to push these legislators that have no balls to, account for it, because right now they're riding on the coattails of his authoritarianism, and he keeps pushing. Yes, he was directly involved through Roy Cohn. Roy Cohn was, McCarthy's right-hand man, and we have already been through this before, but we can send these people packing by economic, not buying things, put pressure that way, just be out in the streets. Let's not give up and get tired. Just keep moving forward.
Amen.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Thank you very much, John. You're absolutely right. Similar to what Brother Jacques Van Bever said earlier today, as well as Brother Johnny. Look, what we're going to do is we're not just going to speak on the radio or talk on the radio. We're also going to engage. When I was out there in New Orleans, those are the kinds of things we spoke about. Some of the interviews you're going to see, including the one that I'm going to have right now from Keith Ellison, you're going to see. So let me get to Ilan, then play the Keith Ellison interview, and then we'll move on. Thank you, Brother John. Let's go to Ilan.
Policies begin left. Yes, we're blessed with clear skies. So very quickly, if you have a portable radio, go outside and look to the east, and you see a beautiful conjunction of Jupiter and Venus in our skies. So it's not political, but hey, you don't want to miss it. So
Thank
go
you,
out
brother.
there and look to the east. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Ilan. All right, folks, let's go ahead and listen to Keith Ellison, and then we'll move on to the rest of the program. So I'll take calls after Keith Ellison. Here we go right now. Welcome to another edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host, and we are once again with the one and only, and he doesn't like when I say this, but this is a guy that saved Minnesota. He doesn't quite accept it. AG Keith Ellison, how you doing, my man?
Hey, my brother, it's so good to see you, man.
It's great seeing you all of the time,
and
man.
You're writing and you're broadcasting and you are pumping out the message, brother. Thank you.
Well, look, let me tell you, you know what's so important? One can do that if we have good leaders doing the job. And I'm looking at one right now. Let me tell you, I mean this from the depths of my heart. I see too many people half-stepping. And the one thing I have yet to see you do is half-step, brother.
We just do full steps around here.
There you go. So look, since the last time that we've spoken, tell me what is on your mind. A lot of people are concerned about the state of the country. We know that we are, when the last time we spoke, we said
we're approaching autocracy.
Yeah,
I can say today we are in an autocracy.
We are in the beginning stages of an autocratic regime.
Mm-hmm.
So there's my job that I do every day, no matter what, and that is to help people afford their lives, fight for fair wages, holding people accountable who pollute and steal workers' wages and mistreat tenants and do price gouging on people's basic commodities that they need. The Attorney General's office is a consumer protection office, and I spend a lot of time doing that. Tenants, workers, ordinary consumers, small business people, we do that. But since Trump is in office, I've spent a lot of time holding the federal government to account for its illegal conduct, starting out with, say, for example, birthright citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they come out the gate trying to violate the Constitution, brother.
Right.
Come out the gate trying to violate the Constitution. Then after that, they try to freeze $3 trillion in federally appropriated money. Then they try to freeze the National Institute of Health, which is trying to find cures for multiple sclerosis, cancer. They just say, we're freezing that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you got ALS, if your uncle got, some incurable disease, Trump doesn't give a crap about that. So he's trying to take the money. Then moves on to trying to say schools can't have their money unless they get rid of diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Mm-hmm.
Then moving on. So every day we're fighting this guy tooth and nail. We have over 30 cases that me and my fellow Democratic attorney generals have filed, and that takes up a lot of time. But there have been about 200 cases total. So like the civil rights community, ACLU, NAACP, MALDAF, LULAC, these groups are suing as well.
Right.
So altogether, there's over like 200 of them, but us AGs have done about 33 or maybe more than that. So that's kind of what I've been doing. I'm full of fire. I'm full of fight. I'm not tired. We can keep doing this.
I tell you something. What I like.
No estoy cansado.
No estás cansado. Absolutely. Let me tell you what I love with what you just said. I asked you a question. I asked about what you're doing. The first thing you came out to me, you told me what you were going to do to materially affect the lives of the people you serve.
That's right.
Okay, we can talk about autocracy, we can talk about democracy, we can talk about all those issues. Yes, but we have to put bread and potatoes and a job on everybody's. And I like that you address that. Why is it that we have so many in some parties that are unable or unwilling to hit the gate running with that type of a messaging?
Well, let me say I can't speak for everybody, but I tell you one thing that helps me.
Yes.
Staying in touch with the people. We do community meetings all the time. We are in touch with our constituents. We are going, so I tell you this, in the state of Minnesota, I was at Farm Fest earlier this week, talking to people who are trying to run, their farms to survive in this tough environment, particularly when there's retaliatory tariffs. They can't sell to China like they used to. They can't sell to other places like they used to because of this insanity Trump is pushing out there. So we're listening to them. We're shut up, listen up. And then the other thing we do is, we're talking to people about, we're doing community meetings and people are telling us about the price of insulin or whatever it is. Then we don't stop there. Democratic AGs have been doing a nationwide tour. Mm-hmm. We started out in Phoenix, Arizona. There is a wonderful attorney general named Chris Mays. She is a star. And she invited about 4 or 5 AGs to come be with her. Then I invited my colleagues to join me in North St. Paul, Minnesota. Mm-hmm. Then
beautiful city. Beautiful
town. We had Tish James there. We had Matt Plock in there. We had a real awesome group there. We had Kwame Raoul there. Yeah. And then we went, they had one in Denver that I couldn't go to. They had another one in Oregon I couldn't go to. But then we did one in the city of New York, in White Plains, New York. Mm-hmm. So we had a great turnout there. So we're not just staying in our own state. We're touring the nation, hearing from people how they're impacted by Trump's illegal conduct. People saying, I'm pregnant. I'm about to have a baby here. Will my child have the benefit of American citizenship or not? Having people tell us when they cut off National Institute of Health funding research, You know, my dad has ALS. My mom has multiple sclerosis. We think there are cures, but if you don't look for them, you ain't never going to find them. What about that? So this is what we're dealing with. Real pragmatic things. I think for anybody who's interested in impacting the political situation, you have to listen more than you talk. And if you do that, you're never going to find yourself getting pie in the sky and way out there on some theoretical concept. Everything you do is going to be tied to a person being negatively impacted by either corporate abuses or the federal government nowadays.
You know, it's interesting that you mentioned about you along with other Democratic AGs or around the country working together. It shows how essential that is, because if we take note, what Texas is doing, in as much as it's in Texas, it affects the entire country.
The whole country.
And therefore, unless we have other AGs like yourself getting together to protect that, what I call that which is moral, then we are, you know, it puts the country at risk.
De verdad. Very true, brother. So let me just say, this thing, so we got to think locally. Everything happens somewhere. Everything has a local impact. But it may have a net, as you said, it may resonate throughout the entire country.
Right.
So they're trying to do a mid-decennial redistricting, which is unorthodox and it's wrong. And they're doing it for the worst of reasons. Their motivation is simply to suppress the vote of some and enhance the vote of others. And you know, we've got to be fighting this, because I love how you put it in moral terms. It is a moral issue. It is a matter of right and it is a matter of wrong. And so we've got to fight it. But, you know, it's the mixture of communicators like yourself, litigating people like me, but mostly it's the community organizer out there, pulling people, giving people hope, telling people things can get better if we just don't give up.
This question is going to be sensitive, and feel free not to answer. Right now, we have Mandami that has won decisively in New York.
Yeah.
Decisively. And not only that, he won decisively.
He didn't inch back. He didn't inch by. He made it. He won big.
He did it with a message similar to how you started our conversation.
Sure.
Okay. It's the same message that we heard when we were both in Pittsburgh, when we were both in these other places. Same message. It's okay. It's okay. Same message. Okay.
Affording your life.
Exactly. Now, we have leaders, and again, please feel free not to answer.
No, brother, we're going to go there. This is an important question that needs a direct, candid answer.
Okay, we have leaders of the party.
Right.
Who are refusing to accept the will of the people. The will of the people were, irrespective of what moniker you want to address Mandani as, that is who the people said is our representative. Shouldn't we hold those two leaders, the leader of the Senate and the leader of the House, accountable? Shouldn't we hold the local New York officials accountable for not supporting this person?
Well, here's what I mean this sincerely. I'm not dodging and I'm not trying to be political. Look, support whoever you want, but understand the consequences.
Right.
Mamdani won because he zeroed in on affordability.
Right.
He zeroed in on the fact that for the last 40 or 50 years, life has become unaffordable because of corporate greed, monopoly, oligopoly, because big giant companies driving up the rents, stagnating the wages, increasing the price of groceries, non-enforcement of things that could make our lives more affordable. And he won because he zeroed in on that phenomenon. Are they saying that they don't get the affordability crisis going on in America? Are they saying that they don't get it? You know who gets the affordability crisis? This may surprise you.
I'm going to tell you who you're going to mention. You're going to probably mention the president.
I am. Trump is a liar and he never says anything that's true, but he's savvy enough to know that if you want to win, you better talk about affordability.
You know, it's amazing. I've written so many articles about the triangulation of Trump and how he uses it to really get the people that would normally vote the Democratic Party.
Right. Because Trump is See, people like to think Trump is dumb. Trump is not dumb. If you think Trump is dumb, you are missing something. He's very clever, and he has a talent for smelling out people's anxieties and concerns.
Right.
And Trump said this. This is when he was Trump won. He got up in a debate stage with a bunch of right-wing Republicans and said, "I'm the only Republican up here who's not going to take away your Social Security." Remember he said that?
Yes.
So he said that. He knew Republican voters, they don't want to lose their Social Security. He knew that. They didn't know that.
Right.
And Republican, he got up there and talked about jobs and affordability and economics. Oh, I'm going to lower the prices. The next day your price is going to come down. We're going to make it. He was lying. He didn't mean it. But he knew to say it.
Exactly.
Now, Mamdani, I believe, does mean it.
Exactly.
But so the question is, does Schumer and soon to be Speaker Jeffries understand that the reason why Mamdani won is because this is a unfair economy, and that look, you're younger than I am, probably.
No, I think you're younger than I am.
Well, we both look good for our age. We both
look good for age.
But the thing is, when I went to college, brother, I graduated with a complete student loan debt, having gone to law school, grad school, undergrad, $12,000. Nowadays, kids pick that up in a semester.
Right.
I mean,
if they're lucky.
If they're lucky. When I was 26 years old, I had one baby, one on the way, and bought a home with my wife. Now my kids, they can't afford that.
Right.
Because the economy has changed, and we're not dealing with that fact. So if Democratic leadership will not squarely address the fact that we haven't increased the minimum wage in 12 years, we've allowed all these companies to consolidate, get monopoly power, drive up prices, everything from internet to beef to hotel rooms, then of course they're the ones who are going to be left out, not Mamdani. Mamdani is on point. They need to catch up and figure out what he's talking about. And instead of saying, well, we don't know if we support him, you better figure out how he won.
Exactly.
How did he beat a Cuomo, a political dynasty in New York?
A Cuomo, a Adams, and everybody else. And now in the polls, he's above 50%, which means they can't beat him.
Which means it. And so they're going to lose. And so what are they going to do? Be fighting with the guy who was wise enough to understand what New Yorkers need? So rather than say those guys are good or bad, or whatever should happen to them, they will, no matter what I say, deal with the political consequences of ignoring the will of New Yorkers. That's what's going to happen. And that's worse than me saying something about them.
Exactly right.
My thing is, how can you not understand what is right in front of your nose?
Right.
People who were born and raised in Brooklyn cannot afford to live there.
Yeah.
They can't afford groceries there. People born and raised in LA cannot afford to live there. I mean, we have an affordability crisis, which is driven by monopoly and oligopoly and the consolidation. And these oligopolies get all this extra money, and then they go buy members of Congress so that members of Congress will do what they're bidding, cut taxes and deregulate, and maybe do nothing. Maybe just not let anything good happen. Maybe make sure that we really can't negotiate drug prices. All this stuff. So that's my 2 cents on it.
Status quo, which is not a winning message. Now, AG Ellison, what should I have asked you that I didn't?
Well, you know what? You haven't asked me when the last time I was in Panama.
When was the last time you were in Panama, senor?
Couple of years ago, man.
And it was fun, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
You were out there on the beach in Portobello.
Me encanta la playa in Panama.
I tell you, nice beaches. I mean, él le encanta la playa. He likes the beaches in Panama. Look, my brother, it has been my pleasure, as usual, to have the one and
always
AG, Attorney General of Minnesota, Keith Ellison. Thank you so kindly, my brother.
Siempre, mi amigo.
Siempre. Thank you, my
All right,
man.
You got it, brother.
Anytime I go to one of these conferences that Keith is there, I got to talk to him. Love me some Keith. Keith used to be Congressman Keith from Minnesota. I can't remember his district. Now he's the Attorney General of Minnesota. And he gets on my case every time I tell him. He doesn't know. And I told him, looking outside and looking in, he is the one that saved Minnesota from exploding, and henceforth the country thereafter, in the way he handled the God, I can't remember the name of the guy who got killed there. Anyway, he did a great job there. Welcome aboard, Kathleen Voss, Mary Dale, Dr. Mary M. Marshall, Cynthia Verdell, Bob Reiger. We also have John A. Davis, Femke, Kalis YR, Uju. How you doing, beautiful Uju? John A. Davis. Continuing up, we've got MXXS. We have, and if I miss you, forgive me and just drop me another line. Adam W. is in the house. Sandra Dingler is in the house. It's Never Happening is in the house, along with Carolyn Hagstuff, Kevin Hagner, Margaret Ryan from Washington State. Early in the morning, I am honored, my friend. And on the other chat, welcome aboard Reyes Nunez de Katy, Texas. Orlando Pinnock. How you doing, Orlando? Are you the Orlando Pinnock from Panama? I'm not sure. Harry Denson, how are you doing from Parved, Missouri City, Texas? Let's go to Brother Don, line number 1. Come on in, Don.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, I just started listening to your program probably about a year ago before the election, and I was always curious just to listen to the other side and see what you guys talk about. And it harkens back to my teenage days, back in the 60s, when we used to sit around and smoke pot. And we used to create this utopia that was going to top everything that we had ever could have imagined. We were doing acid and all that kind of good stuff. And listening to you guys, man, I'm reliving those talks, those what we called rap sessions. We'd just sit around, we'd rap, and the one difference between you guys and us from back then is we never accused any of our leaders of being Hitler, because our dads fought World War II, and one of my uncles in particular, he was in Europe when they started finding these prison camps, these concentration camps. That was a very dirty thing. It was horrible. A lot of men that served in that war that came across those camps not knowing what they were going to find, they were mentally and emotionally destroyed. So, therefore, for that very reason, we respected their service, but not accusing our leaders of being a Hitler. So, I really do take umbrage when you say those things. Nazis, Hitler. When you use those terms, you're really insulting a lot of people. So, but that's okay. I mean, you can live with it. That's fine. But back to what I was saying, we were protesting the Vietnam War. Kids at colleges were having sit-ins on the campuses, all peaceful. Now I look at the TV and I see these protesters. Man, they're animals. You got two classes of people here in the United States: the doers and the not doers. And that sounds very simplistic, but that's basically what it is. You got professionals, people, people who go to college to become professionals, engineers like yourself, doctors, lawyers, and we respect those. And then you have the other guys like me. I'm a tradesman. My dad was a tradesman. All my brother and everybody I know, we're all tradespeople. We have skills. We have talent. We make good money. We make a good living. And we pay taxes. And yes, we do get on Social Security. I'm on it now. And I do have my Medicare. I pay for it. And I respect everybody that does work and earn their parts. But we need to find some civility between the two sides. And accusing each other of being Nazis and Hitler and all that good stuff, you're never going to bring the two sides together by doing that. I'll tell you that right now. We used to sit around and talk about, like I said, smoking our pot, getting high and rapping, and creating this utopia. And the thought of that never came around. We didn't like at the time we were Democrats, and we hated Nixon. But guess what? Nixon's the one that kept my ass from getting drafted. Everybody forgot it was LBJ that got us into that Vietnam War. We should never have been in. All right? Everybody forgets that.
Let me just interrupt a bit because you had a lot to say, and you know what? I could sit down and have coffee with you, and I think you'll find out that we are on the same page on a lot of particular issues. I think I hear within your language some connotation of some messaging that isn't even that doesn't even fall within your own morality that I hear within your message. In other words, I see you speaking from two different moral senses that if you heard me talk about the Powell memo often, that did a good job of doing it. Because we started late, I don't have a whole lot of time to address everything that you spoke about. But first of all, I want to thank you for the civil way in which you you're calling out. And if we had more of that, yes, we could have better conversations. So I want to thank you about that. I hope you keep listening, and I hope you keep calling in, because in fact, I'd like to spend a good 10, 15 minutes talking to you on this on air. So when we have more time, would you be willing to do that on air?
Sure, I'll do that.
Yeah, because just let me say, let's not forget the memories of the 60s. The 60s was we call it una época bien violenta. It was a very violent time in our history, more so than now. I know the caricature of today would have you see that we have this great violence occurring. That's not the case. In the 60s, we lost Kennedy, we lost Martin Luther King, we lost Malcolm X, we had Kent State, we had all these very, very violent times that American civilians got killed in America. We had the cops beating up people.
That's exactly my point.
Right.
We haven't slapped us in the face. That made us change and wake up and realize, hey, this is not the utopia we dreamed of.
Yes, but guess what, brother Don? I got to go, but to other callers. But let me just tell you, I'm not trying to plug for real. Can't do that on KPFT. But I wrote a book called How to Make America Utopia. It kind of made me laugh when you said it's not a utopia, right? We should be striving for that utopia. Yeah. We should be striving for that utopia because we have what it takes to have that utopia. Not the utopia as you think about, but a utopia where we work, where we have dignity and everything else. But let's talk. I want you to call again when we have some more time. All right, Don?
All right. Sounds like a plan.
Thank you, brother. Peace. Let's go to Brother Jimmy. Come on in, Jimmy.
Last night, I watched the most amazing documentary. It was a Netflix documentary, and the title of it is Power. It is about the history of the policing in the United States. You know, in the 1960s, we had total segregation in this country. We had Martin Luther King marching for equality. We had Stokely Carmichael coming to Houston and saying, we want black power. We want black power. The police would knock them down. They would shoot some of them. And it was really a bad situation. But LBJ set up the Kramer Commission to give more money for police and more jobs. The federal government was helping to pay for more police. And they had a policy in New York, a stop and frisk policy. They stopped over 4 million people to frisk them they had no indication that they were doing any type of crimes. The police have also learned how to use chokeholds. They kill people with chokeholds. And right now in the Harris County Jail, we've had 15 or 16 deaths that need to be investigated right down there in our own jails. The jailers are beating up the prisoners, and prisoners are dying, and we need more investigations of that. So I highly recommend that you and your audience watch the Netflix documentary titled Power. It is an amazing documentary, and if you watch it, of course, you can tell the audience about it too. It's really fascinating and amazing. I highly recommend it. It's on Netflix
and it's called Power. Is it a new release, Jimmy, or was it just something you found?
Yeah, I just found it. I'm not sure when it came out, but Netflix was doing a great job of putting stuff like that together.
All right, and, Jimmy.
It's an awesome documentary.
All right. Brother Jimmy, thank you so kindly. Folks, I always like to call out our great supporters. Jimmy's a great supporter. Thank you so kindly, Jimmy. Let's go to Brother Bruce. Bruce, come on in, Bruce.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Bruce.
Yeah, I'm not going to do my subjects today because it takes too much time, but I do want to say this. Thank Jack for his wisdom. As usual, very wise. And Mayanna, welcome back. What a welcome voice. And I'll call you either tomorrow or Thursday with my issues. I'm giving my time back. Bye.
Thank you so kindly, Bruce. You're an honorable guy. Let's go to Brother Derek. Come on in, Derek.
Hey, good morning. I just want to say quickly for everybody to pay attention to what's going on there in D.C. You don't cause that type of big of a buildup if you were not expecting something. The chance, you got to ask yourself the question, what are they getting ready to do and what do they expect is going to happen? Because you're dealing with a bunch of liars. You're dealing with a bunch of deceivers. And Alberto, you know as well as I do, whenever you get that type of security build up, either you're getting ready to make a major decision that's going to tear down the country, or it's going to be just that very impactful to where you're going to see the people rising up. They do it all the time. So just take off your blinders and just have your eyes open. That's all I call to say.
Thank you, Brother Derek. Come on in, Brian.
Just where is the direction that the Democrats are going today? You need to look back at Barbara Jordan and compare her to any of the front runners of the Democratic Party that's going on right now. Hillary Clinton goes up and says that the Republicans are deplorable. How are you going to win any support for someone who's not quite ready to support yet? Or how are you going to tell me that it's an American society and we're free when they have a riot in Los Angeles over immigration enforcement and someone's riding around on a motorcycle waving a Mexican flag and burning cars down? You think you're going to gain any support from that? That's the question.
Okay. Actually, I am a videographer as well as a blogger, and I can make you believe a whole lot of things if I am an evil person or I'm trying to convince you of something. It's like I told you about what occurred in Portland. I told you what occurred in LA. What you were deceived with the videos that you received from LA by our mainstream media. You were deceived by the videos you received from Portland. You were deceived by a lot of the videos you received from Gaza. Let me tell you something. Amy Goodman I interviewed her at Netroots, and she did a piece as well on the stage. Why independent media is necessary. Independent media is necessary because a lot of what you speak about, Brian, a lot of what Americans speak about is such a deception based on the things that are implanted into their heads. One of the reasons I talk about loving everybody all of the times, including you, my brother. I love you. Why do I say things like that? Because specifically, I understand what's going on in your head and what our system is doing to the heads of many. Because the fact that you just said what you've said is how you were conditioned to say it. Thank you, Brother Brian. I got to go to Augie. I'm running out of time.
40,000
Let's go to
hours
Augie.
of January 6th. 40,000 hours of January 6th videotape. Now who's conditioned for brainwashing?
Actually, you are, because you just believe that about the videotapes and everything. You don't believe January 6th was what January 6th was. That says it all. Let's go to Augie. Come on in, Augie.
Hey, Brian said he didn't like what Hillary said, but does he like what Trump says? All of the hate and lies he spews out about everybody, even insults his own Republicans.
Yeah.
And the other guy about Nixon, remember when Nixon said he wasn't a crook and he was kicked out because he was a crook? And when he was running for president against Humphrey, it was the North Vietnamese who were ready to go to the Paris Peace Accords. But Nixon and the Republicans got somebody to go to talk to the Diem brothers and told them, don't go to the Paris Peace Accords. The Republicans will give you a whole lot better when Nixon wins the presidential race.
It is funny you said that, Augie. It's funny you said that because the same thing is what Reagan did with the hostages in Iran. So, man, you nailed it.
Right. And,
okay, but Augie, finish up real quick for me because I got 4 more calls and I got to get them all in, and I'm going to get Joni next. Come on, finish up for me, please, Augie, and my bad management.
Nazis here, and Trump loves them, and he loves the KKK. Something for that other guy to think about. But thanks for all you do, you and Jack and Howard. Thanks.
Thank you, brother. Let's go to Joni. Come on in, Joni. Line 1.
Egberto, you there?
Yes, I'm here, Joni. How you doing, beautiful?
Okay. I'm doing well, thank you. I was at the library yesterday looking up news and saw that the Washington, D.C., I don't want to say his nickname, the BB dude. It doesn't sound like he had very, very big ones when he got his phone taken away from him by some kids. But he turns out, I looked him up. He apparently, according to Wikipedia, is where I got this information. His grandfather was former KGB, was a KGB officer. So this dude has all of our information on some thumb drive or something, and he is his grandfather's former KGB. So if you look him up on Wikipedia, the big dude, I don't want to say it, big balls.
Yeah.
The dude. His grandfather, apparently, if you look at his relatives on Wikipedia, and I don't know where Wikipedia gets that information, but they have him down as having a grandfather that was a double agent and was in the KGB.
Let me just tell you that the info space have been doing a good job on him, and that is accurate as for everything that I've read thus far. So I think you nailed it, my sis. Okay.
Wanted to give something to think about. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joni. Let's go to Donald. Come on in, my brother from another mother.
Hey, you can't always believe what you hear. That's why we have Hall Parvey giving us the scoop. See, this is the thing, Egberto. You've got winners and you got losers. But in their minds, it's wieners and looser. So we gonna get stuck. You just got to figure out how we're not gonna get it.
There you go. That's your final word, Donald. That's your final word. Anyway, let's talk tomorrow, all right, Donald?
Have a good one.
All right.
Bye.
Let's give a dupletta to Johnny. Okay, Johnny, you're back. You must forgot to say something.
Well, Harvey's dead, so you can't rely on him. He's been dead for quite a while.
Oh, God.
Egberto and a whole bunch of other people on the left who actually know what's going on, and they explain themselves well. I grew up in the 60s and 70s. I grew up in the 60s and 70s in New York City from a family that is primarily working class. So when I or Egberto or somebody else in the media describes Donald Trump we're describing as a Nazi, as a Hitlerian type. We do it with receipts. We're not talking about the character of the rank and file voters across the country unless we specify, and we have receipts for that. So don't get your panties in a knot when I or Egberto describe Donald Trump as a Hitler, because that's exactly what he is. Don't take it personal, because if you're taking it personal, that means you need to examine yourself in the mirror. That's all I got to say.
Thank you very much, Johnny. I want to expand on something that Johnny said, and this is for the callers out here. And Johnny was specifically right. I try to make it clear, all our listeners, right, left, middle, anarchists, whatever you are, I consider you brother and sisters. You are not the leaders of this country. The leaders of this country are Donald Trump and Hakeem Jeffries and all these other guys. These are the guys that we hit justifiably so, because they have the power to affect our lives. Okay. And if they do wrong and they have a following, these are the reasons that we go at them when we must go at them. And Johnny is absolutely right. Donald Trump is following the pathway that Hitler used. Study history. If you look at the people on the streets taking down folks, beating people on the streets, and the way we're dealing with immigrants and American citizens that they think may exhibit immigrant features, that's what we are doing. That is what Hitler did. And that's the reason why these comparisons are made. And if you are one of the ones affected, I could be one of the ones affected. That's why we do it. Let's go to the studio, make sure the studio gets some time.
Hey, we're here.
Hey, you're here. Any comment before I give my closer?
I don't have a personal comment, but Jack has something to say.
Come on in, Brother Jack.
Hey, Egberto, Germany is the template for how neoliberal economic policy enriched the industrial elites to the point they created empire and started to expand their borders to surround Europe. This is what the American empire is doing as we speak, and most likely will end in America's destruction, revolution, and reemergence.
Thank you so kindly for that, Jack. Folks, look, I love you all. Thank you for listening. Remember that the rest of the program, which was quite a bit more of the program, but since you guys called in a lot, you take precedence. The rest of the program is at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter, politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. You can reach me directly at kpft@politicsdoneright.com, kpft@politicsdoneright.com. I want for those of you that listen with a right-leaning ilk, please understand that I also consider you all on our team. The divisions are calculable and made because they have to do that to maintain the type of economic system that we have. All right. Anyway, folks, I love you all. My name is Egberto Willis. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out! Support for this show, Politics Done Right, comes from politicsdoneright.com, publishers of How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It, As I See It, Class Warfare, The Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom, It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Egberto Willis. Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willis. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery